Hello to all my beautiful viewers out there. Now, I know it's a little bit late, but we're still in Pride Month, so I thought I would cover it. But today I'm going to be going over the Nike Be True collection. For a little bit of background, if you guys don't know what the collection is, the Be True collection is a series of Nike shoes and Nike clothing where it is inspired and usually designed by people from the LGBTQIA community. Now, I know what you're thinking. Massive corporation, LGBTQIA inspired collection. It sounds like a cash grab. And 90% of the time, you would totally be correct. If a major brand is doing a collaboration with that kind of community, I think in particular, it's usually a cash grab. And you could see that across the board when, especially in Australia, when it was the gay marriage vote, so many businesses came out in support. I mean, I know some of them would have actually came out in support of that community, but a lot of them are like, how do we make a quick buck? I know, let's say that we support this community because that's social buzz right now. Let's get a few extra dollars. And the Be True collection in 2017 and 2018 kind of seemed that way. Honestly, not gonna lie, the Nike collaborations in those 2 years kind of seemed like a bit of a cash grab. It didn't really seem like it was, forwarding or properly helping the community, even though Nike has actually been contributing millions of dollars to the community ever since like 2012. But the actual collection themselves kind of just seemed like a cash grab. But this year it's a little bit different, and I actually really like the 2019 collection this year. So what Nike did this year, different from the previous years, is that they went to Gilbert Baker's estate. So if you didn't know, Gilbert Baker passed away in 2017. Unfortunately, rest in peace. He is the person that originally designed the original Pride flag with its 6 colors. There's a whole story behind that. I don't know too much about it. I haven't dived too much into it, but from what I know, the flag had 6 colors on it due to limitations with the actual cloth he was working with. But each color is meant to represent a pillars of the actual movement itself, like sex, life, healing, sunlight, nature, magic/art, serenity, and spirit. They're all the colors are meant to correlate with those little bits of the movement there. Now, obviously, when I mentioned each of those little meaningful bits of the movement and how they correlate with the color, I obviously mentioned 8 things there instead of 6. So the 8 that they're working with this year is the new revitalized Pride flag that now has 8 colors on it instead of 6. And what's going to be happening is that they went to Gilbert Baker's estate, so essentially his family and friends of, him, and they said, let's design a bunch of clothing, a bunch of shoes, all centered around Gilbert's biggest achievement, which is the monumental symbol that the community uses today for its Pride Month and generally its representation in general. So, heavily focused around the flag. You'll notice that all the designs I'm about to showcase to you now are very much focused around the 8 colors that are in the modern day Pride flag. And a lot of the shoes actually feature Gilbert's signature on them, which is kind of a cool concept as well, to have his signature on the actual shoe itself. I think it's a really nice homage to the actual community and Gilbert himself. I am a little bit torn about 2018 and 2017's one. I don't know the full stories behind those 2 collections, but those 2 kind of just seemed like how a major corporation would handle the collection, which is just like, let's just chuck a rainbow on something and that's what an LGB blah 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 community thingy bobby is. While this year seems a little bit, more focused, a lot better, because they've gone to Gilbert's estate and they've actually gone to the community themselves and said, let's design the shoes and clothing together. I should probably stop talking about why I think 2019's collection is better than 2018 and 2017's and actually dive into the 2019 collection. So, without further ado, let's start looking at the actual shoes and clothing. Now, the first shoe that I'm going to start discussing is the Nike Zoom Pegasus 35 Turbo Be True, What an absolute mouthful that is. So it's the Zoom Pegasus 35s with basically where the eyelets are. Eyelets being little holes that you put the laces through. They've got glitter surrounding the eyelets. They're on the back of the heel. They've got Be True stamped on the back there. And then down the center of the shoe, they've got a massive pride flag on it. Now, this shoe, honestly, it kind of seemed a little bit off. It kind of seemed a little bit out of the rest of the collection, because all the other Nike shoes in this collection either have a very 80s or 70s kind of silhouette. You know, they kind of look 80s or 70s, or they're actually from the 80s or 70s. While this one here seems very, very modern for a for the collection, because the collection seems very centered around Gilbert and his time period, so 70s and 80s. But this shoe seems very out of place, to be honest, in this collection. I still like the idea that it's been done by the LGBTQIA community, but it just doesn't work very well, honestly. I think it could have been done better. This one's kind of a miss, honestly. I'm not feeling this one. I don't think it's the best. I think they could have done better. But the other shoes in the collection are a lot better than this one. I'm going to say it. This one is probably my least favorite, but get ready for the better ones. There are better shoes in this collection. So for the second shoe, we've got the Nike, I think it's Bennett Benassi Jdi's, the slides. And as I was talking about with the 8 colors and the 6 color thingamabobby there, what it means is Gilbert originally designed the flag with 6 colors, but over the years it got slightly altered to have 8 as the movement had more and more things that it stood for and it needed more colors to represent that. That's from my understanding. I could be slightly incorrect there. It could be a totally different story, but they changed the flag to have 8 colors instead of 6. So on these slides, on the part that goes over the actual foot itself, it has the 8 colors that the modern day pride flag has. Obviously the modern day pride flag was inspired by the 6 colored pride flag that Gilbert did back in the day. I really like that this slide is very simple. It's just an all black sole with the pride flag over the top of it. I think that's really nice. I think it's a nice way to handle it. I think this is a well-designed shoe compared to the Zoom Pegasus we just had, because the Zoom Pegasus kind of doesn't really work with that collection, while this slide actually works really well with it. I think the slides are really nice. I think that this is a good homage to the community. I could be slightly incorrect in saying that it is. Some people could take it as offensive, that this looks like a bit of a cash grab again. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that the slides are a little bit of a cash grab? Like, what's your thoughts on it? I personally think it's nice. I think it's a nice little homage. I thought the Zoom Pegasus seemed like a bit of a cash grab, but you guys might disagree. Definitely let me know in the comments. Do you think do you think that the Zoom Pegasus was more of a cash grab, or do you think that this Be True Benassi Jdi slide is more of a cash grab? Because personally, I think the slide is a better homage to the actual community itself than the Zoom Pegasus. But again, let me know. Okay, arguably this one is the most authentic to the actual community itself. This is the Nike Tailwind 79 Be True. I personally think this one is the closest thing we're probably ever going to get to a pair that closely represents the community as well as the symbolism behind the flag. Mainly because this shoe came out in 1978. It got debuted in 1978, but it actually got released in 1979. But it originally got shown in 1978. And 1978 is also the same year that Gilbert designed and came up with the flag. So I think it's just like a perfect idea to grab a shoe that was originally debuted in 1978, grab the designs that Gilbert made in 1978 and combine them together to make this awesome looking shoe. The elements of it that have the community's pride flag on it is the heel at the back. It's got Nike written in some really retro font over the top of the modern day 8 colored pride flag on the back of the heel. The rest of the shoe is set in a pinky kind of tone, with the tongue being extremely pink. Personally, the silhouette of the shoe isn't really my thing, but I can really respect what they've done in this case, where they've grabbed a shoe from the exact same year that the flag was made and combined them both together and designed this. I think this is a really nice shoe. I think it does really well in the Be True pack. I think it's probably one of the most authentic shoes to the collection. But let me know, guys. What do you think? Do you think that's a good way that Nike handled it? That they did a shoe from the same year that the original Pride flag was made? Let me know in the comment section. I think that this is the most authentic shoe out of the whole collection. Whether or not it's my favorite shoe out of the whole collection, totally different category there, but I think it's the most authentic to the community. Okay, so for the fourth shoe that we have in the collection, we have the Air Max 720. Now, the Air Max 720 came out, I think, either this year or maybe late last year. But the 720 is essentially the new redone version of the Air Maxes with the biggest air bubble ever. It is very much an 80s looking silhouette. The shoe looks very 80s, and at the moment 80s seems to be a very big trend to dress like these days. So I kind of like the idea that they grabbed a shoe that looks like it has an 80s silhouette and then applied the Pride flag to the upper. And on the actual air bubble itself, right at the back near the heel, it's got Gilbert's signature on the back of it, which I think is a really nice idea. I think it's really cool. On the pull tab at the back, it's got Be True on it to showcase that it's part of the Be True collection. I think it's quite nice. I think because it looks like quite an 80s silhouette, I think it works in the collection. I think this collection should always be quite centered around the movement's original starting point where it started to become quite well known. If you kind of get what I mean, like it kind of grew in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and then now in the 2000s it's become this huge movement. I think the collection should always be from shoes that are very much inspired or look like they're from those eras. I don't think it should be done on modern shoes that look modern. If it's done on a modern shoe that looks retro, I think it's respectable, like the Air Max 720. It's a modern day shoe that looks quite retro, so I think it works quite well with that. I think the 720 is really nice. The Pride flag draped over the top of the upper, I think it's a bit much for me, but a lot of people of the community might really like it. Again, let me know what you think about it. But yeah, the flag draped across the top of the Air Max 720, it's nice. I think it's quite nice. It seems, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, if it's a cash grab or if it's authentic or not. But I think if it's very much centered around Gilbert's work, having the flag draped across the top of it and having it for Pride Month, I think it is quite authentic then. I think it works quite well. So yeah, I would say that this is quite a nice shoe for this collection. Now, this is probably my favorite shoe out of the collection. I personally think this one's really nice, and it's really nice to homage to Gilbert's work. It's got 8 colors on it, all 8 colors of the modern day Pride flag. It's got them all situated as swooshes that are stacked on top of each other. I think that's really nice. I think that's a cool idea. And then on the color blocking, it's got all of those 8 colors color blocked somewhere on the shoe. So around the airbag on the sole, you've got yellow. On the back, you've got dark blue. On the front of the toe box, you've got the light blue. Around the eyelets, you've got the purple, red, and green, I think. Yeah. And pink. So you've got the pink, green, purple, and red. Whew, so many colors. I think it looks really nice. And the best part is that it's got those colors, but then it's got really neutral colors as well for the color blocking, like black, gray, and white. I think it really works really well together. I like it more than the Air Max 720. You know, having the whole flag across the top of the upper. I like this where the colors have been incorporated into the color blocking of the actual shoe itself. Yeah, I think it's a really nice shoe. The stacked swoosh is really cool. I think that's a really nice design. I haven't seen that before. I don't know if it's been done on Air Max 90s before, but I think it's a really nice way to pay homage to both the community and the Pride flag itself, considering that this collection is very much focused around the actual flag and Gilbert. I would have liked to seen maybe Gilbert's signature on the tongue or something like that. I don't think there is. There's not even a Nike logo on the tongue, which is interesting. That kind of seems to make it a little bit more authentic, that they're less focused on the branding of their own brand and more so about the community itself. I think this is a really nice shoe. I think this is the nicest shoe that I would probably consider wearing. I'd like the tailwinds though, because the tailwinds, I think they just work really well. You know, being made in 78, having the flag made in 78. It just works so well. But the MX-90s, back to the MX-90s. I need to focus on the MX-90s. Yeah, it's really nice. I think that this works very well with the collection. I think all the shoes except for the Pegasus work really well in this collection. And yeah, I hope that in 2020 they do a really good collaboration like this year for their shoes. Because in 2018 and 2017, as I said, it kind of just... I don't know if there was a story behind the 2017 and 2018 collections, because the only time that I thought that this collection isn't a cash grab is this 2019 collection, because they worked with Gilbert, because they worked with people from that community, and they donated some of the proceeds from this collection to that community. That's why I think the 2019 collection is the most authentic collection for that community. But let me know, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you guys know about the 2017 and 2018 collection, and if it has a story behind it like the 2019 collection does, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read about it. But yeah, I think this is the best collection that Nike's done for the Be True collection for Pride Month so far. Now, I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over the clothing. What Nike's done is they've just released some pretty... This is the kind of stuff that makes it seem a little bit like a cash grab, which is the like Nike clothing with Nike brands all over it, and then the Pride flag underneath it. Again, I like it because it's got the flag on it. It kind of symbolizes Gilbert's work, but having like Nike logos and stuff like chucked over the top of it, it's kind of, I don't know, I kind of take it as a little bit insulting. I kind of think they should focus less on it being like Nike branded and more focused around Gilbert's work itself. But again, I get it because it's a major brand. They've still got to like get the sale at the end of the day. They've got to like showcase it's still theirs, yada yada yada. Yeah, the clothing is a bit of a miss for me. I don't know. I like the shoes better. The shoes are a better homage to the community and Gilbert's work than the clothing is. Maybe they could work on the clothing. Maybe the clothing will be better next year. But yeah, I think it's just hoodies and shirts. That's all I've really been able to find for this collection. If there's any more, though, link it down in the description. I'd love to see it, but I can only find shirts and hoodies, which I still think they're alright. They're not really special. They're alright. But if you like them, let me know in the comments, guys. But that's it. I thought I would cover it for Pride Month. I didn't want it to be covered next month. I didn't want to delay it that much. Do you guys like the Be True collection? I think it's a cool idea. I like the idea that the brands are working with people from the community. I think that's the big thing that really sells it for me. If you work with the people from the community that you're trying to showcase and empower, then the collection comes off as more authentic than a cash grab. But let me know, guys. What do you guys think? Do you think the Be True collection's a bit of a cash grab, or do you think it's actually an attempt from a major brand saying, we care about the community? I think for this year especially, it's quite authentic. I think it's less about the money and more about caring for the community. Nike recently has been, publicly has been saying that they care a lot more about this community, that they've, donated a lot of money to this community. So yeah, I kind of take it as this collection being quite authentic. But again, let me know. And of course, until next time, guys, I'll see you later.